Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Campaigns. I'm your host for the evening, right? I'm David Johnston, Vice President of Strategic Communications and Digital Media for the KU Alumni Association, but more appropriately, for the last semester, I've been a lecturer in Strategic Communications for the School of Journalism and teacher of Strategic Campaigns, the capstone class for Strategic Communications majors in the J School. And it's been my privilege working with these outstanding students you're about to see tonight. Before I turn the microphone over to them, I want to make a few introductions and thank some special guests. First, I'd like to welcome and publicly thank Dean Brill and any KU faculty and administrators in the audience tonight. Thank you for supporting these students throughout their J School journeys. I also want to welcome any parents, family members, or friends in the audience. Obviously, you have every reason to be proud of these students who are about to participate in arguably the most important event of their academic careers to date. No pressure, guys. But seriously, don't worry, guys. You guys are ready, and you could not have reached this point without their support. So students, I want you guys to take a moment and thank those who have supported you along the way. Throughout the semester, these students have heard from friends, alumni, guests, graduates of the program who returned to share their wisdom and experience with the class. They offered broader and certainly in many ways better perspectives than I ever could, and it added immeasurably to the class and the students' experience. I want to specifically thank Mike Goff, Micah Brown, Bernie Kish, Jackie Barra, and Jan Eric Anderson for helping the students this semester. Let's give them a round of applause. During our research phase, we were fortunate to be able to visit with athletic administrators and student leaders at Nebraska, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, where they literally rolled out the red carpet for us. We cannot thank them enough for their hospitality and their contributions to our work, along with KU's Donna Ernest, who helped the class with expense reports and some of those things involving reimbursements. So I want to give a special thanks to those folks. On a personal note, I want to thank retired Professor Dr. Tim Bigston, who was my advisor when I was in the J School, my mentor, and when I was an undergraduate back in the early 90s, he was the one who convinced me to choose this path. Also, a very special thanks to retired Professor Bob Basso, who provided the model for the way I teach this campaigns class. And a final shout out to Tom Volek, a faculty member who has taught many students over the years, including me, and has taught many courses, including this one. He's retiring this spring, and he will be missed. So I want to thank those special instructors for supporting this class and these students. And last but not least, obviously, we wouldn't be here tonight in this beautiful space without our esteemed client, Populous. Early in the semester, we took our entire class here to Populous. It was a lot of fun, and we were absolutely blown away, not only by this place, but by the people we met, and certainly the purpose behind Populous, drawing people together. The students participated in a high-level panel discussion with Principals Scott and Sherry right here on the state of collegiate football, the challenges of fan engagement, and the trends that are driving the college football fan experience today. It was immensely helpful, and we thank them and everyone at Populous for generously giving our students your time, attention, and hospitality. So thank you, Populous. And finally, on behalf of our students, we want to thank the client team, Gina, Lindsay, and Maddie. Where are you? There, right there, front and center. Good. You guys made yourselves available and supported these students every step of the way, responding to their questions quickly, getting back to them, really engaging yourselves in the project, and I can't tell you how valuable that was. You treated this project as a true partnership, and I appreciated that. it would not be fair for me to say, with all of the clients that we've had through the years, that Populous has been the best campaigns client ever. But if I could say that Populous was the best campaigns client ever, I would probably say it something like this: Populous has been the best campaigns client ever. So thank you for that. Thank you for supporting the academic mission of the university and for joining our students on this journey. And if you'd come forward real quick, we have a little something for you. So thank you. How about a round of applause for our wonderful clients? This year's challenge was a great one. I was actually really jealous of these students because of the nature of their project. It was awesome. But their challenge, their purpose, was defined in this way. 1, create a better experience for all microsegments of the national college football fan population. 2, create a fan engagement program to drive collegiate stadium attendance. And 3, create a multi-faceted marketing campaign for Populous aimed at highlighting the firm's true understanding of the fan experience. What you're about to see is the culmination of hundreds of hours, or billable hours as Professor Basso would like to say, in service to Populous. Halfway through the semester, the class presented their research findings to the client, along with key insights that will drive the recommendations that you see tonight. The research presentation and the research book, along with each campaign's plans book, are among the deliverables which delve deeper into the details of each campaign. And tonight, of course, we'll be seeing their final presentations. The format is pretty simple. While students worked on the research phase as an entire class, they spent the second half of the semester broken into 5 teams of 6 individuals each to develop their campaigns. We incorporated a bit of KU history so that our teams were aligned with some of the historic Jayhawks. So we have, in the order that they will present, Team 1929, 1912, 23, 41, and 20. And I've gotten a preview of all of these, and I can't tell you how proud and excited I am to see them. They will each present for 20 minutes, plus a brief 5-minute period for 2 or 3 questions from the client. After the third presentation, we'll have a brief intermission of 5 or 10 minutes. And with that, I think we'll get started. But finally, let me just say, students, I told you on the first day that this is your last practice swing, right? Your next campaign will be a real at-bat, okay? So this is the big leagues. Remember that the nature of this class is unique. Any one of you could have created a strategic campaign on your own, but that's not the challenge of this class. The challenge of the course is to put together a campaign as a team, and you all have done that. Individuals functioning as one single unit, no one more important than the other. Jayhawks, it has been an honor and my pleasure to teach you. So with that, I'll let you take the stage.
thank you all for joining us tonight. This is a special occasion, certainly, but a special thank you to Gina, Lindsay, and Maddie for working with us so extensively throughout the entirety of this semester. And a thank you to Populous as a whole for allowing us to work on such an amazing campaign like this. We're definitely honored by the opportunity, and we're excited to share with you some of the ideas that we've come up with so far this semester. But first, we'd like to take a quick moment and introduce each member of the team to you all.
Hello, I'm Brandon Goldberg, and I'm the account coordinator.
Hi, Maria Ernst, Research Director.
Hi, I'm Rachel Auerbach, and I'm the Creative Director.
Michelle Geiser, Marketing Communications Director. Bailey Grubish, Planning Director.
Carson Thomas, Presentation Director, and we as a group are Chameleon Creative. So just as it's important for a marketing firm to possess the ability to adapt to their changing environment around them, chameleons change their color based on their mood and their ability to adapt to their environment around them as well. So Populous came to us with 3 initial questions to ask and answer throughout the entirety of the campaign. The first question being, who are college football fans? The second question being, what unique experiences do these fans look for? And finally, the third question, how can Populous market these ideas to their potential clients? So we as Chameleon Creative wanted to take it one step further and ask an additional 4th question, how can Populous differentiate themselves from their competitors within the world of sports architecture?
And although repositioning Populous was not an identified challenge in the beginning, it did become an inevitable priority when creating a marketing strategy. So with the 3 original questions in mind and our 4th one in the back of our pocket, we implemented a fan life cycle to really visualize what exactly we wanted to accomplish with the target audiences that we identified in our primary and secondary research. So our 3 target audiences are students, donors, and families. We define a donor as an individual or organization that is contributing to the specific athletic department, and this is inclusive of dollar amount, age, or affiliation with the university, so a wide range of donors. Populous, you also identified families as an important target audience to really look at, so any unit that considers themselves a family is included in this target audience. This evening we'll be introducing a little bit more about our key findings based on our research presentation just a few short weeks ago. And then we will be sharing some of our target audience and our personas to answer the first 2 questions, which were who are college football fans and what unique experiences are they looking for. We'll then introduce some of our objectives, strategies, and tactics to not only answer our 3rd question with our marketing strategies, but really help position Populous as a fan lifecycle expert. We understand that in one semester we cannot become as intelligent and as great of selling this service to clients, and that's okay. But what we want to do is really help use the fan life cycle to really enhance your fan experience expertise.
And now that you've heard from Maria what we've been working on all semester, I'm going to give you what we found to be the key findings. So in 2017, college football saw the 2nd highest drop in attendance to games in the last 34 years. And this is just due to the in-home experience that's really hard for these football stadiums to combat with. And a lot of stadiums have come up with ideas of, okay, a trend we found was take out seats out of the student section, which makes room for luggage boxes and suites, which is great for the fan that can afford to pay the upwards of $100,000 that it takes to be in these areas, which also takes away from the student sections, which provides the environment and atmosphere that we found all sections of fans love to see when they go to these games. The second trend we found was multi-use venues. And now we realize this won't work for every university due to the fact of traditions and just it's their magic of just during football season that they like to be in there, such as Nebraska. They won't use it outside football season. Well, KU, for example, we aren't such a big culture of football at our school, so getting student athletes and just students in general inside the stadium for academic purposes will help give them that connection with the stadium when it comes to football season and get them into that door. And then the final thing, which Maria touched on, Populous, you guys are the experts. And we're not saying that we know anything near as much as you guys do. But we want to just emphasize how important these conversations with universities about microsegments and renovations are, and just how to enhance those conversations. And now that you've heard our key findings, you asked, who are college football fans? And we looked at 3 target audiences, the 3 being students, donors, and families. Now, students, they're 18 to 22 years old, they're busy, they work, so when they have the time and money, they want to make the most out of it. And so, in order to get them into the game, we need to have digital engagement, and there could be party atmosphere with party decks to help engage them and get them through the door. Now, donors, they want something completely different. They are the backbone to college football. In 2017, D1 schools received over $44 billion from both private and public donors. And so this is all aspects from the die-hard fan to corporations. So that's a wide variety of just donors to reach. And so that they want those high-class experiences, those experiences that they can get through private bars or cabana-style areas while still interacting with other fans. And then finally, we looked at families. Now families, parents work throughout the week, they're busy, children are busy with their activities as well, so when they come together to bond, they want to make these memories last and make the most of them as well. And so getting them through the door, just having open areas could help, and just, we want to stress the accommodations. Like, we know that there's already mother rooms and there's already family bathrooms, but we want to stress the importance that those are for just having more throughout the stadium that will make the difference for these families.
Now that you've heard a little bit about who we've been targeting in terms of audiences, I'd like to kind of personify these people for you and give you a better idea of what these people look for in the game day experience, as well as, who they are. So that leaves us starting with John. John here peaks on game day, as does his BAC. When it comes to game day, what John looks for is to hop around each fraternity for the tailgate, catch up with his friends, and catch up with all those that are around him. When it comes down to it, though, when he's at the game, he's looking for the closest spot, somebody he knows so he can jump in there, whip out his Snapchat, show all his friends, and elicit some FOMO. To John, the most important thing about this is the ability to, A, engage with his friends, followers, digitally and in person, as well as to make sure he's having a good time, he's bringing his energy, and he's got that loud, fan experience. Now, that leads us next to Steve here. Steve wants no part of what John wants, although Steve does like watching over people like John. What brings Steve into the door is not necessarily going to the game and sitting amongst these students, but more so being able to catch up with his alma mater and being able to catch up with prior classmates and bring his family of 5. Now, Steve may not have $1 million in his account, but what he does have is, fortunately, he was passed down a suite from his family, and he likes to take his family there, like I said, catch up with old classmates, etc. And lastly, that brings us to our families. This is little Katie here. Katie's getting jiggy on the Jumbotron, and that's all she ever really wanted. When it comes down to it, that's all her parents ever really wanted to, which was to make their kids happy. See, the Johnston family, when considering to go to an event, they have so many competitors, so many options to choose from. Whether it's going to the zoo, going to a movie, whatever it may be, they need a reason to walk into a collegiate football program, being that it's a little bit more intense for their children. So having places such as grassy areas to let their kids escape, or just being able to have their kid get on the Jumbotron or be engaged in the game themselves is really all they look for.
And after taking a look at who college football fans are and what type of unique experiences they're looking for, we're left with the ultimate question: how can Populous market itself as a competitor in a city that's filled with sports architecture firms that are also equitable? And we want to focus on the fan life cycle of that. We really want to focus on building relationships and, like your motto says, drawing people together. Because we really want to focus on experiences that are not exclusive and that will include everyone in the price bracket in those experiences. And through our research, we found that many people don't want to be priced out of these experiences. In fact, in some research that you shared with us about Kyle Fields and one of your case studies, we found that over 40% of the survey respondents didn't necessarily want to be priced out of the stadium because of these exclusive experiences. And that continues on with the research that you showed us during your initial presentation to us, which was this graph here. And we saw all of your beautiful architecture designs, but you're missing one person, or one group, I'm sorry. You're missing the students. Where in this graph were the students represented, where their unique opportunities can be brought to light as well, and where they can also have experiences where they can share with their friends, and the friends that didn't come, well, they're going to miss out. And so that brings us to our campaign goal. Our campaign goal is to reposition Populous as an advocate for inclusivity within all of its stadiums by building long-term relationships between universities and fans in the fan life cycle. But why are long-term relationships important? And why is even the fan life cycle important? These relationships are at the heart of what your motto, drawing people together, is. And we really want to make sure that they're at the heart of what you continue to promote within universities. So this brings us to our campaign, drawing people closer together. We really want to make sure that everyone is brought together through your campaigns and through your stadiums to really make sure that everyone is having a good time, no matter what price bracket or what experience they're at inside that stadium. And so we're going to achieve that by improving fan satisfaction by 7%. So college football attendance has been declining, so it's no secret that the satisfaction is going down. And so we really want to achieve this by making inclusivity and exclusivity a partnership and not a competition, to really make sure that when people attend stadiums, they're not being left out of experiences because they simply can't afford them. And we really want to remarket what you find valuable and what exclusive means in these stadiums to be something of experiential value and not necessarily of a monetary one. And by doing this, having experienced the heart of what matters most to these fans and what matters most to universities, it'll elicit FOMO not through the monetary value, but instead by the experience. And this will in turn draw people closer together. And so you may be wondering, what does this look like? And how can we market this to universities who already have their own agenda and they know what they want to do? Well, that brings us to our first tactic, and that is the Populous Stadium Builder. It's an online marketing tool that Populous can use to market their skills to universities. And it kind of works like a Toyota or another car brand's car builder type of tool. And they can go ahead and see where they can find the most value in their stadiums and where the most ROI can be found, and sort of use it to play around and see what Populous can do, but also where they can find the most value in their stadium based on their own culture.
An additional tactic that Populous can use to really build on that fan excitement that comes with your renovations is our tactic Populate. This is an agreement between universities and Populous to schedule smaller renovations over a long period of time. We found through our research that there is an incredible spike in attendance and excitement when a new renovation or a new addition to a stadium is included. That said, it does decline very quickly, and we want to make sure that Populous and universities can really take advantage of that. Because when excitement is short-lived, it is only temporarily valuable for the architecture firm, the university, and frankly, all of the fans included. So we found this and modeled this very similarly to how the University of Nebraska has scheduled their renovations over the past several years. So as we learned through our primary research, they have included smaller renovations about the past 10 years that really bring that fan excitement and brings people back every season. And they've never had a problem with filling seats in their stadium, and we know that. But really drawing on that fan excitement may be an addition to what really makes it so unique. However, the University of Notre Dame is an example of kind of isolating our target audiences that we are really, really stressing in our fan life cycle. So they did have their largest renovation in university history just in 2017. And that really did satisfy the needs of all target audiences in the fan life cycle. That said, the isolation of the individual wants and needs over the past years in between their most recent and last renovation is astounding. And we want to make sure that the fan life cycle can really be implemented in a service such as Populate, where we can make sure that even if not every target audience can be satisfied in one renovation, that we can do this in each individual renovation over time.
Okay. Our next objective is to increase alumni donors by 5% over the next 10 years. So the aim of this objective is to really value the student experience, increase the number of donors for the university, and position Populous as an expert on the student and fan experience. So we want to do this by providing really exciting experiences for students. We know students bring an unmatched value to games. They're the loudest section. They're really bringing the atmosphere. Again, a lot of universities tend to overlook them when it comes to their renovations. But what we want to do is educate these universities that investing in student experiences isn't just creating a bigger student section, it's actually investing in your future alumni and turning these students into donors. Populous is the expert on this, and we know that you guys can educate the universities, show them why picking Populous is picking a firm that understands the student experience, understands why it's so important to create an investment in your students and really creating this really beneficial long-term relationship between the students and the university. So this is vision visualize the learning curve. The first level of the learning curve is basic knowledge that the everyday person would know about venues or stadiums. The second level is intermediate. This requires a little more time and a little more research, maybe looking at what the capacity of the stadium is, when the last renovation was. The next level is the university level. So this is the research and the time the university is putting into looking at football programs, looking at other stadiums, looking at other firms, and kind of deciding what they think that they want from the renovation. And then the next level is populous. So this level goes above all the other levels, above all other firms, and really reaffirms the time and research spent on the student experience, on human experience, looking at not just stadiums, but real human experiences, and it's telling the university not just what they think they want from the experience, from the renovation, but what they need from the renovation. So this all comes together and invest in your future alumni. So this is part of the campaign that once again just reinforces to the university why it's so important to invest in your students, why it's so important to show them that this long-term beneficial relationship is going to be extremely valuable to both the student and the university. And this can be used in a variety of marketing materials, infographics, research books, videos. It's really up to you how you want to use it in your campaigns, your client meetings, and your RFPs.
And so our third and final objective is to expand these experiences to smaller spenders within the stadium. Our strategy behind this objective is to really focus on and prioritize those smaller spenders within the final stage of the fan life cycle, which belongs to families. Currently, universities have a need to compete for these families with a variety of different options. These options can include local amusement parks, zoos, movie theaters, and even the at-home experience. Through research done by our class and even through some of the research that you presented us as well, we found that the at-home experience was the largest competitor to that of the game day experience. So as of now, universities have the opportunity to create some of these multifaceted experiences to compete with that at-home experience and to really understand what these fans want in their experiences. And utilizing the fan life cycle in the brainstorming process for thinking about renovations is essential to really understanding and getting a better understanding of that segmented market. So thinking about these renovations, not only do they help kind of segment these markets, but again, they allow Populous and these universities to really understand what these fans want. Through our research, we found that it's incredibly important to implement these multifaceted and multi-use experiences in the stadium to attract fans and their needs and wants. So these experiences can look like interactive spaces in museums that are just enriched with fan history, team history, and pride, and even play places for children and families to occupy during the game, as well as spots like academic spaces and facilities for both students and student athletes as well, to utilize these spaces year-round, even when game day isn't currently happening, as well as relocating the student section from kind of the corner of the stadium to a more centrally located area within the stadium. We believe that that will allow students to really feel as though they really are an integral part of the game day experience and allow them to better bring that energy that they do so well each and every game day. As well as opportunities like club seating and loge boxes for those alumni and donors who are interested in those sorts of experiences. So not only do these multifaceted opportunities create a better segment understanding, in addition to that, they also allow for increased revenue for the university. So the university can use these funds and put them back into the stadium through staggered renovation projects like Populous. So bringing fresh new ideas for fans to keep coming back year after year, experiencing things that they never have before. In addition to that, these extra funds and this extra revenue can be utilized to, over time, decrease ticket prices for people like students and families in specific, people who are a part of that smaller spending group and are looking for more budget-friendly options in terms of entertainment. So not only do these experiences and these opportunities allow for increased revenue and a better segmented understanding, but they specifically allow universities to invest in their future alumni in each and every stage of that fan life cycle.
And now that you've heard the main tactics that we've been working on this semester, here is how we envision the timeline breaking down for each of those. So for the website, we see that taking the most time due to the time, energy, and just people and technology it takes to build one. And then we have the populate planning, which is the renovations, just option planning of what that could look like for the universities. And then you have the invest in future alumni. That we just see coming out with marketing material, and each individual university is going to have a different way to reach their students and alumni differently. And then the fan life cycle, we see just coming up with materials of how to get the word out about what it is and how people can interact with that. And then finally, we have the multi-faceted experiences. We see that taking 3 months just to research which universities this would actually work for, and then 3 months of, okay, what will that work look like for each of those universities? And then that brings us to our budget. Now here's a breakdown of how we envision our budget. As you can see, a majority of it does go towards the website builder, and that is for the software and time that it takes to build this. And then the rest of the budget we see taking for marketing supplies and just extra in case there's bugs that need to be worked out for this website. And then as you can see, there's a further breakdown which will also be broken down in the book that you guys will receive.
Now, overlooking any of these subsects of the fan life cycle could be detrimental to the overall success and satisfaction of collegiate football programs. By positioning Populous as not only expert leaders of fans and the fan experience, but also the fan life cycle, and knowing where each stage goes to the next, and being able to ignite and engage those fans to carry on and become lifelong fans, and in turn have children that are lifelong fans, is the core reason why we believe that positioning yourselves as experts of this fan life cycle will have you be a top-of-mind storage architecture firm amongst your competitors. And by focusing on the overall improvement of fan satisfaction, bridging the gap of inclusivity and exclusivity, as well as having the opportunity and the ability to engage students to be donors, can have a powerful outcome and in turn draw people closer together. Thank you. I'd like to open the floor to questions.
My name's Eric. I just started here a month ago.
KU grad.
Yeah, KU grad a month ago. Graduated in December. So I was just curious, what do you guys have had a lot of time to think about this, right? So, and you guys, I heard you guys mention that there's lots of, I know at KU that they don't have any like academic facilities in their stadium. So what would you guys, if you were the designers, what would you design into the stadium that would be academic or used for students outside of the regular football schedule?
Rachel, I'll pass this on to you.
I think definitely places where students can collaborate would be really awesome, because places like libraries or in a business school that was built, there's tons of different open areas that students can collaborate in. And so I think that that would be really amazing for people to come together in a space that's already supposed to bring people together, but come together for academic purposes as well. So I think that whether it would be a library or just places with coffee shops, places to sit, or even bringing it to big lecture halls, anywhere that people gather, I think would match the brand of the stadium itself.
Can you walk me through the stadium builder thing one more time?
Yes, yes. So basically, it is an online application that can work kind of like a car builder, where you can pick different options, and those options can be different seating options. This is a click-through of the website application itself. So whether it be different field options, whether it's grass or turf, concessions options, whether it's different types of snacks versus popcorn versus hot dogs and hamburgers, all the way through, again, back to those seating options and different technology, different video boards, etc. And so the schools can go ahead and build the type of stadium they would want right on your website. And they can see how these different options can impact their ROI and also impact the fan experience that they would have. So as you can see, it just disappeared when it comes back. There's an area where you can learn more, and so it can link to blog posts back to your website, and that can provide more information based on how that specific item in the stadium will bring value to their stadium culture and fans, or to the ROI in their stadium.
question, and I was hoping you could answer to both of them. Let's go for it. So the comment is about your life cycle, which I thought was great. You said you went from student to donor to family. Well, I am neither currently a donor nor do I have a family, and I am also not a student. So I'm kind of in the middle of there. So there may be there's a bunch of people like me that are neither donors nor students that are trapped in there. I'm sure you have a strategy.
Of course.
And my question was about the stadium builder. It is one of 5 strategies or one of 4 strategies? So one of 4 tactics that you chose.
It's one of our 3 tactics.
Right. So it's one of your 3 that is 75% of my budget. So can you talk about why is 1/3 of the strategy worth 75% of the budget?
Absolutely, I can take that. So I think that what's really unique about the fan life cycle is that it's not necessarily a physical, like, you can show this to somebody and prove its value, as opposed to the stadium builder, which is a physical product that the client can use. The fan life cycle can be implemented in a variety of things that you already have. So prioritizing your budget and making sure that you're not overspending on anything, but it really does come down to the actual sales process and how you're sharing your expertise. So you already have plenty of material that explains just how incredible the fan experience is that you can literally create. So as opposed to creating more content that is only centered on the fan lifecycle, we want to implement that into the fan experience. So they're not necessarily exclusive, but rather it will be working with your current marketing tools.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
While we transition to the next group, feel free to stand up, stretch your legs, grab a drink, but we should be up and running here in no time.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming tonight. I want to start off by saying great job to Team 1929, that was really good. We also want to say thank you to our professor, David Johnston, for setting us up for the next chapter of our life. We also want to say thank you to Gina, Lindsay, and Maddie for providing us with the information and tools we needed to do this campaign. And also thank you to Populous. I know that last week I was at a Royals game and I couldn't stop thinking about all of the planning, execution, research, everything that went into building the stadium. I'm Anna Haggard, and I'm the presentation director. And this is Team 1912, and our campaign is called Populous Party, adding to the experience. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Okay, and then we want to position Populous beyond architecture. We strive to create value for collegiate football and the community and make our target audience feel like they are part of something more than the building process. So to kick off, we're going to tell you about the team, and then after that, we're going to jump into our situational analysis and the solution to the problem. And then next, we're going to explain our research and insights and explore what we learned throughout this semester. And then after that, we're going to show you our planning and execution, which entails how we're going to implement our campaign. And then lastly, we're going to give you some logistics about the budget and timeline. So like I said, I'm Anna Haggard, and I'm the presentation director.
I'm Casey, and I'm the account coordinator.
I'm Lois, and I'm the research director.
I'm Nicole Martin, and I'm the marketing communications director.
And I'm Belen Melinda, and I'm the creative director.
So collegiate football is at a point of crisis. Stadiums are old, outdated, crumbling, and attendance is low. We need new facilities and events, but the price is extremely high. Our campaign is about the features and benefits of Populous Party and how it's going to impact the university. Populous can implement these changes and position people appropriately to justify the price to the universities and get hired for new future renovations.
So now to go on to our situational analysis. Throughout this campaign, we decided to focus on two main goals. One being to position Populous as a premier architecture firm whose expertise also extends beyond just building projects and into helping their client market their campaign in their new stadium. A second being to create a fan engagement program that will help drive attendance up.
So next I'd like to talk about our target donors, or our target audience. We have 4 target audiences, one being high dollar donors, second being current and prospective students, third being university decision makers, and fourth being season ticket holders. So I'll start with high dollar donors. High dollar donors are the people who feel very connected to the school. They make contributions, they make decisions, they are very important. Secondly, we have current and prospective students. Through the research, we have noticed that a lot of schools have kind of put students to the side, not really giving much priority to them just because of their buying power. They don't have a lot of money, they're in college, that type of thing. So we decided to target current prospective students because we believe although they are in college and although they have low buying power right now, they will be future alumni and they are very important in the future. And their experiences in college will shape the way they view and think about the stadium in the future. And then third, we have university decision makers. This is the chancellor, the athletic director, and the head coach. We want to target decision makers because they ultimately decide whether Populous gets hired or not. We think they're very important, they have high influence on the school. And then finally, we have season ticket holders. We decided to target season ticket holders because they are a segment that will always be loyal to they're a very loyal fan base. So they come to the games every time, you know, they buy their season tickets, they always show up, they're guaranteed revenue. Next we have our SWOT analysis, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of college football. Obviously, as you guys know very well, there's lots of strengths of college football. You know, you have that unique experience unlike any other. You don't find that in the NFL. You got your marching band, your mascots, your chants, everything that you would see in college football. And then bringing in together, you have your alumni, so that huge connection. You know, you bring students, alumni together from an experience that they couldn't experience anywhere else. Next, we have our weaknesses. As you heard earlier, college football attendance is very low. With that being said, it causes a huge weakness for the team, the school, drives down revenue, and also fan engagement. The games are very long, they're 3 hours long, and because of that, people have a hard time staying engaged. With that being said, you know, they decide to do other things, they decide to leave the stadium, they decide to get on their phones, not being connected. That is a major weakness of college football. Next, we have our opportunities. We have many, many opportunities with college football. With high attendance comes high revenue. These revenues could not only fund the football program, but can also fund programs with the university. Updated facilities is another major opportunity for college football. You know, you feel like
see in the stadium once, so when you upgrade your facilities, you bring in more people, more students, etc. And then recruitment. Recruitment brings in large numbers of students. You know, you have your 5-star recruit, you have your 5-star coach that you're bringing in. It creates engagement, it creates involvement with the school. You're thinking, okay, well, I want to see this high-power 5-star coach, I want to see this recruit. I'm going to come, I'm going to spend more money, I'm going to go to the games. And then finally, you have your threats. Obviously, we've seen this KU, there's a losing team. You know, low attendance as it is, then you have your losing team on top of it, it creates for a disaster. Then you have your at-home experience, you have your couch, you have your chips, you have no paying for money, no parking, you can change the channel when you get bored, all sorts of that kind of things. And then other forms of entertainment, so concerts, you know, is this concert more important than this football game? Who knows, but that's another threat for college football.
So next up, we're going to touch on our research. Some of our key findings, so for the first event that we proposed, the testimonial video, we found that the best way to target the decision makers was to showcase the features and the benefits that Populous will provide. It's used by many NFL teams, in particular the San Francisco 49ers. They use testimonial videos, and we read lots of good feedback, and we really feel that a testimonial video will paint Populous in the best positive picture for future universities. Number 2, we have the hard hat tours again. This is used in NFL, and I believe you're familiar with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where this was used. We really feel like hard hat tours could be a way to target high-dollar donors and make them feel beneficial and appreciated at every stage of the building process. Our third event, so the personal seat license. Again, many NFL teams use this, but mainly to drive revenue. But we feel like, again, high-dollar donors could benefit from this and feel appreciated. And well, we found out that high-dollar donors like exclusivity, so we feel like this could really target that audience. And we feel, or from research, we found that high-dollar donors don't like to arrive to the game 2 hours before. They like to turn up right as it's kicking off, or even during the game, and go straight to their seat and not have to worry about standing in line.
Our next key finding was about the usage of media days in collegiate and professional sports. So media days are common practice in many sports. They're usually used for coverage. So really, the benefit of media days is coverage from the local news, the university news, and even the national news. And so they can be really beneficial to a lot of different teams. Our next key finding was about fan engagement. So fan engagement is so important. It can be a lot of different things. It could be pop-up shops, it could be meet the team, it could be anything like that. But really, fan engagement is about building and sustaining fan relationships with the university or with the team. And finally, our last key finding was about the usage of spring games. These are also very common, usually used to help recruit players and to get fans excited for the upcoming season. Next is our planning and execution. So our strategy for this campaign is to help Populous create additional value for their clients, by not only building stadiums, but helping them market them as well. This campaign aims to give Populous the right insights to market their stadium to their prospective clients. By doing this, to achieve this goal, we have identified again our 4 target audiences: high-dollar donors, current and prospective students, university decision makers, and season ticket holders. And we have come up with 6 different events that really target all of these different audiences that we feel can bring in more revenue for the schools. So those 6 events are the testimonial video, hard hat tours, personal seat licenses, media day, fan engagement, and the spring game.
So the way to kick this off, this marketing event, would be the testimonial video. This is the most important part of our marketing campaign. We're targeting decision makers being the university leaders, such as the coach, the chancellor, etc. We want to target these people because, again, they will be the decision maker on whether Populous gets hired or not. So the purpose of this testimonial video will be to showcase the benefits of choosing Populous as not only a marketing firm, or not only an architecture firm, but a marketing firm as well. So what we'll do in this video is we'll have previous schools that have worked with Populous, and they will talk about their experiences, why Populous has been so great with not only the renovations, but also the marketing aspect. And that's very important to give these decision makers a taste of what Populous can bring to the table.
For our second event, it'd be a hard hat tour, which is exclusive to high dollar donors only. They will previously receive an invitation. During this, there will be 3 different tours, one at the 50%, 75%, and 90% completion mark. This will really give the donors a chance to feel part of the process as they walk through and see the new features of the stadium and the new amenities as well, in hopes that they will, if they're not already season ticket holders, they will become them or purchase the PSL. Going off of that, we believe that Populous should implement a PSL at every renovated stadium to drive revenue. A personal seat license is an engaging and exciting event that will be for high dollar donors. It gives them the ability to put forth money for a particular seat in the stadium. We selected this event because it drives revenue and helps finance stadium reconstruction. Upon receiving the invite, the donors will arrive to the newly renovated stadium. The excitement for the future of football and the school will be flooding the air. There will be a special performance from the school band and concessions. After bidding on their seats, the donors will be guaranteed that spot for 1, 5, or 7 years to come.
So Media Day, this will happen approximately a month before the opening ceremony of the stadium. So the value of Media Day is coverage to the university, the community, and future clients that Populous may have. So by attracting as much press as possible, there'll be more coverage and more attention to the new build. So Populous can do Media Day differently by, well, live social media streams and just creating as much hype as possible about the new build of the stadium to attract some new fans.
Building off of the buzz of Media Day, we will hold our fan engagement event. This is going to target current and prospective students, and it will hold attractions including a DJ, photo booth, traditions night, pop-up shops, local food trucks, and athlete autographs. This event will be free to all students, and the seating will be first come, first served. And the purpose of this event is to unveil this completed stadium to all students.
Finally, we have the spring game. So our spring game is going to act as our opening ceremony for the new stadium. This will be the first time that season ticket holders and the general public will be allowed to see the stadium. There'll be a ribbon cutting ceremony before, obviously a scrimmage, there'll be pop-up shops, a DJ, lots of different fun fan events that can get everyone excited. There'll even be fireworks at the end to really kick off this new stadium with a bang. We believe that this really ties together our whole marketing campaign because as the last event, we've hit all of our target audiences and hopefully gotten the whole community engaged with this new build.
Now for the logistics of how we're going to make the party happen. The first thing we're going to do is create a testimonial video, which we will then use to present our proposal to our client. Once Populous is selected as the architecture firm, we will send invitations out to high dollar donors for the hard hat tours and PSL event. At the 50%, 75%, and 90% completion marks, we will hold hard hat tour events for the high dollar donors. Once the stadium is completed, then we'll hold a PSL event, and a month after the completion, we'll have our Media Day. Using the buzz for Media Day, then we will then hold the fan engagement event, and the final event of our campaign will be the spring game. Our budget is going to be $13,447.54, and most of our expenses will go to the testimonial video and the expenses for our events, including sending out invitations and the fireworks display.
So to wrap it all up, the problem we face and that we're trying to solve is low collegiate football attendance and how to justify the cost of the solution. So we're going to the solution. Our entire campaign is about providing solutions. Through a community marketing task force, we'll help you justify the cost of the renovation and get decision makers on board. So why you should choose Populous Party? Because through the 6 proposed events, the video testimonial, hard hat tour, personal seat license, Media Day, fan engagement, and the opening ceremony, we will justify the high costs of the renovation. A Populous Party is, hey, here are the designs and the features we're going to build. These are the benefits of the features, and this is how it will impact the entire university. If you hire Populous Party, we'll position Populous as more than just an architecture firm to get hired by decision makers and other universities in the future. A question I pose, are you ready to bring Populous Party to the next university?
On one of your early slides, I was curious to see that you mentioned Populous as an architect and a marketing consultant. Are you suggesting that we monetize our marketing services to help promote these openings? Is that what you meant by that?
So we were thinking about this. We proposed that you use like interns and different things to not, we know that you have somewhat of a marketing force, but not really. But without hiring more people, you can use your interns to help implement this, is our idea. So we don't want to have you add a whole other section to Populous, but really just use your resources you have and implement these tasks.
Would our clients pay us for those services? Is that what you're suggesting?
It could go into your cost, yeah. It could be an additional service, so yes, there could be an additional cost to that as well.
Good. And my second question is related to the video. Have you thought about how we might distribute the video and also how we could measure return on investment for that piece?
So we would show the video in our proposal. So we would set it up kind of similar to this. We would show it through kind of a slideshow, basically a pitch. It would be a pitch video. And you would bring it to your clients. You would show them, hey, this is the video. This is how we can show you what we do. And that's the way we would show it to the client.
We would also broadcast it.
So when you showed the different steps and stages in your plan, it looked to me like the first step, the video, was the only step that happened before project award. Is that correct? Because the next one has to do with hard hat tour. So the second step
Yes,
is
that would be the
project.
first step, yes.
So can you talk about sort of this, you're obviously focusing on marketing after the project has been won. Can you talk about how you came to the decision versus marketing to win projects?
We want you to be able to propose these events to the decision makers in the testimony committee. So these decision makers and people at the university think this is a fantastic idea and this could impact the entire university. They're bringing more money.
Something we found is that these massive projects are sometimes rejected by the university and the community once they already begin. Something that happened in Colorado. There's a big pushback from students in particular saying we don't want to spend our money and our tuition on such a big project that, especially if it's from a losing team. So this is kind of a tool to help sort of reduce that cognitive dissonance that may occur and try to help the school, once they choose Populous, to market it to their own people, their own community, their own decision makers, to make sure that once the stadium is actually unveiled, it has a positive reception from the community and from the university.
right, hello everyone. We are Team 1923, the coolest Jayhawk in our opinion. We are so excited to present you guys with what we have been working on this semester. We've come up with so many ideas that it was almost hard for us to lower it down, but we figured out 4 of our favorite ideas that we can't wait to present to you guys today. And before we start, we just want to say thanks again for Populous for not only hosting us tonight and putting in all your time, but for being such an awesome client to work with. I think I can speak for our whole class when I say we really lucked out with this client, and I think compared to some of the other classes, we are really thankful that we got you guys. And yeah, we just can't wait to show you guys what we've been working on. So with that being said, I'm Allie Burley, the presentation director.
I'm Olivia Clothier, the planning director.
I'm Jeremy Day, the account coordinator.
I'm Rachel Fletcher, the creative director.
Anna Perano, the marketing director.
And I'm Sasha Mayer, the research director.
So tonight we're going to take you through all the work we've done as a group. We're just going to start by giving you a quick summary of our overall campaign, and then we'll talk about how we designed our campaign around a key challenge. With that, we'll explain kind of the research that we conducted earlier this semester as a class and how we used that research to create a strategy behind our campaign. Then we're really excited to show you all of our creative and more tangible elements. And then we'll explain how the budget is broken down with all of the different creative elements. And then we'll finally conclude by discussing our evaluation of the campaign success.
So now we'll just briefly take you through our executive summary that helps guide our campaign process this semester. We believe using our ideas discussed in this campaign today will ultimately make Populous the top-of-mind candidate for stadium renovations. Our goal is for Populous to efficiently and effectively market themselves as the team that knows how to fill in the gaps while understanding what college football fans want in a stadium.
So because we already had our research presentation, which you all already saw, we kind of just wanted to reiterate the main objectives and strategies that we implemented for those of you that haven't seen it yet. So our main objective overall, after we saw the presentation that Populous gave us at the beginning of the semester, was we were kind of left with these 3 questions of who are the college football fans, what experiences do they want, and how can Populous market this information? So we started our research kind of looking at how do we get into that college mindset by thinking about what they want when they attend college football games and what they like and dislike when they're at a game. And then we just kind of wanted to look at the key similarities and key differences between each individual fan. And we did this through a few of our strategies, which were the fan survey and the administrative survey, which we talked about in our presentation. And then we had the 3 field visits to Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, where we actually got to talk to fans there, we got to talk to the administration, and then we got to actually walk on the field and kind of see those new renovations for ourselves and see what fans liked there, what they didn't like there, and gather all that information. And then we had our 3 guest speakers who gave us their own insight on what they enjoy, or the college experience. And then we reviewed Populous' social media and their website presence. And then lastly, each group kind of looked individually at a specific school and kind of saw what renovations worked for that school and what didn't work for that school. So then with that data, we kind of looked at key takeaways that were most relevant for our specific campaign. There were 304 participants with 62 colleges nationwide. So that's a lot of data to kind of look at similarities and differences. The main similarities that we saw as a group were that fans thought the most important thing was tradition, socializing, and then the atmosphere within the new renovations of stadiums. But we also kind of realized that each fan within all of those 3 aspects is very different in what they want. So a mom and a dad and a student and an alumni is going to want a different tradition at every school, and their social experience that they want is going to be different. A mom's going to want something different than a student, and then lastly with the atmosphere, an alumni might want a different renovation than say another student or another fan. So that was kind of our biggest challenge. Coming up with our challenge was actually the most challenging because Populous does so many great things already. So that's kind of when we came up with our campaign goal, which was to market Populous in a way that shows that they truly know and they truly understand the fan and how they stand out amongst their competitors in that way. And then we did this by our objectives, which were kind of executing everything we learned from our research. And then we wanted to find a creative and digital way to engage fans and clients so that they can really remember the experience and remember what Populous knows about each individual fan. And then lastly, we wanted to kind of bring it all together and brand Populous in a way that shows they understand the target audience and the true fan.
So we created a strategy that was research-based, and it was centered around solving the challenge. And the key message of our strategy was that Populous understands how to fill the gaps by creating these really unique fan experiences, specifically in college football stadiums. And the message that we created really is brought to life by all different aspects of our campaign through various channels to show the key decision makers, our target, that Populous is the best choice in stadium renovations.
We know through our research that the #1 reason fans do not like attending games is because their friends are not there. We've also learned that the #1 reason why fans enjoy attending games is because of the atmosphere. Therefore, Populous really needs to capitalize on this information and create an atmosphere that is so good that all fans' friends are going to want to attend. In order to do this, though, we need to change the seating in stadiums. Right now, stadium seating, the majority of it really limits how a fan interacts with their peers. You get in one seat and you can't move around and talk with everybody that you're going to want to talk to. You're kind of football family, the people that you want to interact with at a game. So we suggest that Populous creates more terraces that are targeted towards these certain microsegments. We know that there's a lot of demographics in the football fan base, but today we want to focus on these students, alumni, and families, because we know that students are getting increasingly more frustrated with their seating options. Student sections, because of renovations, are getting pushed further away from the 50-yard line and have shrunk drastically in size. Therefore, we want to implement a student terrace where fans and students can go to hang out and really interact and socialize with their peers. They can have a group cabana ticket option where they can hang out with the people they want to be with, their football family. We also suggest implementing these ideas for alumni and families because then these terraces can be designed to specifically meet the needs of the specific demographics. These terraces are going to create a unique and exclusive experience for people to be with the people they want to be with, their football family.
Well, it feels like a while since we got the pleasure of meeting Gina, Lindsay, and Maddie. For those of you who don't recognize this graphic, this was a part of their presentation to us back in January. It was to visualize their data-driven design model. And on one axis, we have different age ranges, and the other with income ranges. At the intersections, we have different features that were made available at this stadium currently. What happens next was super interesting. The Populous design team found these intersections that needed to be filled in for these different age ranges and income ranges. So we wanted to focus our marketing campaign on what Populous does best. They fill in the gaps. So they don't only just fill in the gaps, they meet consumer needs by making sure every fan has a unique experience that's tailored for them. We make sure Populous maximizes attendance by putting as many butts in the seats as possible, and they can maximize return on investment by having different premium options for these different intersections. Populous also can explore new possibilities by keeping up with current trends and predicting new ones. They can also come up with and find new and upcoming communities such as esports and make sure they have the experiences to thrive.
So moving on to creative, I just want to briefly touch on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I know that Populous has a few other social media platforms, but I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth into the ones that we included into our campaign. So beginning with Facebook, Facebook currently has about 6,965 followers. And what's cool about social media is you can connect to your audience anytime and anywhere. So Facebook has a really cool feature called Facebook Live. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. And we want to do weekly fill-in-the-gap videos where it's live and you can either use old stadium footage or the person can be at the stadium and they can show the target audience how they have filled in the gaps and how they are able to create these awesome new experiences. We found that Facebook Live videos get 3 times more engagement than just a regular Facebook video. And we found that they get 3 times more the comments, the likes, shares, all of that. So, moving on to Instagram, this is a much smaller account with 1,642 followers. I do believe this is the newest account starting back in September. One thing we want to do with the Instagram is put the logo onto the Populous website so people are able to access that a little bit more easy and increase that engagement with the Instagram. One of the biggest things that we need to do is include the hashtag and the location because this is going to increase the engagement by over 50%. And also the length of the video is not going to be longer than 60 seconds. You just want to give the followers a quick glimpse, a 30-second quick video so you don't lose their attention. Then finally with Twitter, this is the largest account with 10,300 followers. And again, we want to implement this hashtag #FillTheGap weekly post where Populous can share their stadium designs by going there live, like taking the Facebook Live video and reposting it to Twitter. And again, that's going to increase those retweets, favorites, mentions, clicks, and replies. And then with all this being said, I just wanted to show a social media chart of the 5 elements to include in a good social media post that's going to increase that engagement and interest. So first, that timing. The best time to post to Instagram is between 12 and 1 o'clock. This is when people maybe are on their lunch break or just checking their phone and have time to browse it. Then the frequency. You don't want to post more than once a day or else people kind of feel like it's cluttering their newsfeed and they get bothered with all of that. And then including a photo or video, obviously with Instagram it's already going to have that feature, but putting it on the Facebook and Twitter post, it's going to increase that interest by a lot. And then asking the audience a question within the post, it's just going to help also increase the engagement and they're going to be more interested in it because if you're asking for their personal opinion. And then finally, that call to action, you want to give them the information as plainly as possible so they're able to understand it and, again, increase that engagement.
Well, this is what Populous.com currently looks like. Users can sift through different featured works such as, by venue types such as stadium, arenas, and ballparks. When we got to digging, we found that there was also a location tab that could be used, but however, it doesn't work currently. We would like to offer a solution for this. We would like to suggest an interactive map to be placed on the Populous website with different colored pins, color-coded based on the sports league, with blue being college football. You can also see the black dots signifying Populous's home offices for the US. Navigating this map would be pretty straightforward. They could mouse over the different pins and they would see thumbnails based on that venue, such as the brand new T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas or the University of Minnesota's stadium in Minneapolis. When they would click on one of those thumbnails, it would take them to an existing blog post to learn more about their featured work. In addition to the Populous website in this fashion would make it easy for clients and consumers to go in and take a look at what Populous has done and gauge, and they could be able to gauge similar projects based on their location and different venue types.
So now moving on to our idea of the Populous pop-up display. We believe that implementing the idea of this pop-up at key events like NACDA, which is the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics, where we believe key decision makers, athletic directors, attend. We have come up with this idea of this virtual reality Populous pop-up box, where Populous can sit down with their key decision makers and take them through a tour of their potential new facility or what facilities they've done in the past by just slipping their phone right in the middle and watching. So the goal of this pop-up is to increase awareness of Populous, display their work creatively, and engage key decision makers in a unique way. We also believe adding a television to this pop-up display will allow for Populous to demonstrate their abilities in video format, which we believe will ultimately make Populous the top of mind candidate.
So we're journalism students. Numbers are not my personal strong suit, but we took the $20,000 campaign budget and broke it down by allocating funds to each aspect of our creative plan. So first we looked at social media. Social media is a free tool, but we feel that by paying to boost or sponsor posts at Populous can actually extend the reach of the campaign. What we mean by that is extending the reach can look like increasing awareness, generating new leads, and just ultimately starting the conversation with universities looking to upgrade their stadiums. We allocated just under 10% of the budget to boost these #FillTheGap social media posts. And the post can be, the success of the post can be measured by looking at the ROI of generating those new leads and just looking at the analytics on social media. Next, the Populous pop-up. We feel like that would be a really good tool for Populous to give potential clients a really unique interactive experience in just like what a day in their stadium looks like. The pop-up is the biggest part of the budget. We allocated over half the budget for the entire pop-up structure, which includes the structure, the VR set, the VR video, just the whole experience. But we believe that it's worth it because it will be effective in presenting to potential clients. We also feel like the NACDA convention is a great tool to bring the pop-up, and Populous can position themselves in front of the target, those key decision makers, and just really get a chance to speak to a large audience. And then finally, the website improvements. Populous needs a seamless way for potential clients to see their past projects and get ideas for their future projects. So we talked to Populous digital media team, and we allocated just over 10% of the budget to cover those improvements.
So we have worked so hard throughout this semester to come up with ideas on how to create a better experience for all microsegments of the National Football fan base, and how to create a fan engagement program, and also create a marketing campaign for Populous to use. So we have come up with so many ideas for this semester, but these are our top 4 recommendations for Populous to use. Once you guys have implemented the idea of the Fill in the Gaps hashtag, created a football family throughout these different terraces, made a map on your website, and created the pop-up space with Google VR, we really think that Populous will be able to say confidently that they are the leader in sports architecture due to their knowledge about the college football fan base. Populous should use the hashtag #FillTheGap because that's what they're best at doing, filling in the gaps, whether that's revenue, atmosphere, or just creating new renovations. They can start filling in the gap with the football families. The football families is going to be a great way to provide a new fan engagement program for all these different fans. Fans will be able to be with the specific people they want on these terraces and interact more, and it will really create an aspect of a football family. The website map is going to be key for these potential clients and website visitors to be able to see in a seamless way the work that Populous has done all throughout the nation. And then they'll be able to understand how Populous has filled in the gap at these certain places. The Populous pop-up space is going to be important for the key decision makers to see at these different conventions how Populous has filled the gap through their different past and future renovations by using the Google VR to see these things. So by implementing all 4 of these ideas, we truly think that Populous will be able to say they are the leader in sports architecture due to their understanding of the college football fan base. Thank you guys so much for listening, and now we'll open it up to questions.
I was wondering what your sticker said. They say fill the gap. Yep. Good. One question for you all. Do the social media channels you proposed match up with our target audiences?
Yes, I believe so. I think that even though we're kind of looking for those people who are the direct people looking to, like the people renovating the stadium, I think that you can reach all different kinds of target audiences because you want to get your name out there. You want people to know what Populous is. So we are really targeting still students, alumni, and families.
And students still use Facebook? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yes. And I know like many adults who use Instagram now. My mom does. So,
is your mom here?
No, she's not. I'm from Atlanta, so. It's actually really easy. Google has made this like super awesome. It's only costs about $50 to create a unit and kind of personalize it for Populous, but then Google just has apps that you can put any of your current videos that you already have, and we've tested it out. It works super well, and we were gonna show you guys when we're all done how easy it is. You can put any video in this app and it turns it into virtual reality. Makes it really awesome. So then people that are key decision makers can turn it on and just really walk through exactly what their stadium renovation will look like. Thank you guys.
All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break. We will start back at 5 after, and I'll have our last 2 groups come and we'll get queued up so we're ready to go. Anything to announce in terms of restrooms and refreshments and that kind of thing? Water, refreshments, food around the corner.
Restrooms are straight back.
Restrooms toward the back. And we will see you at 5 after.
Hello everyone. We are extremely excited to be here, and we cannot wait to finally share with you all the hard work we put in this semester. So first off, we obviously want to thank Populous for giving us this incredible opportunity. More specifically, we would like to thank Gina, Lindsay, and Maddie for all of your guidance, expertise, and hospitality. So with that being said, we are Stomping Grounds Communications, and this is our presentation, Listen to Their Feet.
I'm Seamus, and I'm the research director.
I'm Sarah, and I'm the account coordinator.
I'm Shelby, I'm the marketing communications director.
I'm Adam, I'm the presentation director.
I'm Haley, and I'm the creative director.
And I'm Meredith, and I'm the planning director. So for the layout for our presentation for today, we're going to start with the overall purpose. From there, we'll address the problem and the 3 questions we were tasked with answering. Then we will describe the different fan segments we created, discuss our 3 case studies, and then we will explain our marketing strategy, Campus and Compass.
As you know, college football attendance is declining. The competition for eyes on the field and butts in seats is everywhere. Because of this, colleges and universities are trying to improve the game day experience by decreasing the decline in attendance. To solve our objectives, as defined by Populous, we sought a people-driven approach, inspired by Populous's own slogan, drawing people together.
People have an innate desire to be a member of a community. We wanted a personal understanding of what truly impacts the fan experience. Because what is a stadium without the people inside of it?
As it is clear, Populous draws people together. That being said, it's important to define who those people are. We did this by forming a graph, where engagement, as in attendance, is on one axis, and team quality, as in games won, is on the other. For each axis, we did define who the low, moderate, and high groups are. The low engagement fans attend 2 or less games a season. They go for the overall experience and often don't attend because of financial or logistical barriers. The moderate engagement fans are more involved than your low engagement fans, but still not quite invested into the team. They really value the social atmosphere. And the high engagement fans are most likely to be, they attend 5 or more games a season, and they are most likely to be your season ticket holders or to purchase an exclusive package. On the other axis, we have our low quality teams, and these ones win 4 or less games a year. They have a difficult time getting low engagement fans to attend because they typically lack culture or tradition, but they can usually still rely on their high engagement fans. The moderate quality teams are ones who win 4 to 8 games a year. They can range from a decline of previous success or move up to current improvement. Factors such as who the opposing team is and weather can contribute to who will attend. And then lastly, the high quality team are ones who win 10 or more games a season. They have the strongest culture and history, but can find it difficult to find a balance between creating new experiences but still protecting their traditions. So for each quality, we did a case study forming 9 personas. Today we will share 6 of those, 2 for each type of quality.
Now it's important to realize that these segments themselves don't have a lot of inherent value unless they can be applied to an actual project. So we took it upon ourselves to personify each segment and tailor them specifically to universities to make them more concrete and easier for us to brainstorm engagement programs. These case studies illustrate how we apply our expand segments to a stadium project to create engaging experiences for all sections of fans, even if the game itself isn't particularly entertaining. We selected one team from each success tier, and remember that each of these personas is completely made up, except for one. We chose the University of Kansas as our low-tier team for a few reasons. First of all, their football team is consistently bad, their stadium is outdated, but they do have a large alumni base that's engaged in other KU sports, and we see this as an opportunity to grow football attendance. The first persona we'll discuss is our dedicated alumni, or David Johnston as we named him. David will attend the game regardless of the quality on the field. He's also deeply passionate about the game, so it's important for us to elevate tradition and increase the amount of money spent at each game he attends. For David, we recommend the creation of a player access tunnel that will allow fans like David who are engaged to see, feel, and hear the energy of the players as they enter and exit the field. The tunnel could be decorated with pictures of past players, different homages to great moments in KU football history that will serve to inspire both players and fans alike. The next segment we'll discuss is a young family, where we named them the Hodges. Like any young family, they have a ton of options as to what to do on weekends, but they're moderately engaged with KU football, and they're attracted specifically by the low price of tickets. The key for this segment is keeping the fans, and especially the kids, entertained throughout the entirety of the game, because the longer the parents are there, the more money that they'll spend. For this segment, we recommend the use of specific in-game displays in the stadium that this segment can interact with through the use of the KU Football app. The KU Football app would house pretty standard things such as mobile tickets, schedules, or rosters, but would also come with VR, augmented reality rather, capabilities such as Pokemon Go, where if you look through the screen, you could interact with the in-stadium displays to learn more about KU football traditions or histories. This would be important for this segment because it would give the kids something to do on game day, even if the game itself is not interesting.
I will now introduce to you our moderate success school, Boston College. We chose Boston College because it is a medium-sized school with a regularly average performing football team.
Specifically in this section of our suggestions, we focused on one key result from our research findings, and that was that fans are not attending games because they want to drink or they want to stay away from those who have been drinking. So first up, meet Jane. Jane is our low engagement fan. She is a BC alumna who lives about an hour outside of Boston with her husband. She works full time and doesn't get to make it to visit her alma mater often, so when she does, she wants to make sure that all the details are just right. Football in itself isn't necessarily important to Jane, but she likes being in that environment and spending time with her college friends. Our suggestion for Jane is the Garden Suite. This is a middle-tier premium seating option that would allow Jane to avoid our next fan. The Garden Suite has a retractable roof to protect Jane and her girlfriends from any weather elements, and it also provides interactive features for in-suite food and drink order. Parking and transit accommodations are included on this ticket. The Garden Suite allows Jane to enjoy the overall atmosphere of the game while enjoying her company slightly more. Next up is our medium engagement fan, Bobby. Bobby is a current BC student who lives in the Mods, which is an upperclassman resident option located near the stadium. His friends like to call him Hambone, and he's notorious for doing anything if you chant his name. His tailgating style will let him speak for himself. For Hambone, we suggest a revamped student section. This area would be called the Nest and offer special ticket pricing for the Mods residents. There would also be food and alcohol sale in this area, with selections slightly less sophisticated than that which is available to Jane in the Garden Suite. This is more than just a student section, however. It's an opportunity for socializing to help bring students from the popular Mods tailgates into the stadium.
Lastly, I'm going to talk about our high-quality team, the University of Wisconsin. We chose them because they're known across the country for their game day experience. They consistently rank in the top 25 for attendance per year and have not had a losing season since 2001. Since they do so well in attendance, it's important for them to maximize their dollars per butt to maximize profit. So the first person I'm going to talk about is Jerry. Jerry's a retired alumnus, and he has had season tickets to Wisconsin football and basketball for the last 37 years. Since he's retired, he spends his time reading and watching programs on the Badgers. He feels an emotional connection to the team, and he even calls into radio shows to give his opinion on the team. Our recommendation for Jerry is more comfortable and accessible seating. Since he's so old, he needs comfortable seats to stay at the game for several hours. Right now, Camp Randall Stadium consists of bleacher seats, and we think that with this, it would be more like a seat that you would see at a sporting park or somewhere like that. This would allow him to stay at the game for longer. These seats may also include cup holders and maybe weatherproof. Our next persona is Thomas Anderson. Thomas graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 2010 and since then moved to Chicago to become an accountant. He tries to make it to one game a year, and he's part of the Alumni Association, and when he doesn't make it to the games, he watches them with his fellow Chicago members. Our recommendation for Thomas is an alumni ticket package. This package would include suggested transportation, hotel and rooming, tickets, an organized tailgate, and even memorabilia. And to maximize profits, we think that they should partner with either a transportation or a hotel service to make more money.
Now, in order for Populous to communicate its knowledge of college football fans, it also needs to communicate its understanding and investment in the university that it's working with. College football and each fan base is so unique that creating one stagnant marketing plan would not effectively communicate what Populous does best, and that's bringing people together. Inherent in that slogan is the understanding that people will want to be a part of the community, and our marketing plan is centered around displaying Populous's understanding of that community, which proves to athletic administrators that we know them as well as they know themselves. First, we propose the use of a direct mail package that will be sent directly to athletic administrators so that we can show them the research and the amount of investment that we've already put into their community. Because at the end of the day, architecture firms might build stadiums, but it's Populous that actually draws people together. So the contents of the box are as follows. First, we'll start with a promotional video that's stress tests. First, we'll start with personal pieces. These are the most important part of the box itself. These will be localized items that would be discovered through research. For example, if we were to do a promotional box to the University of Kansas, we may include Free State Beer or Wheel Pizza as sort of a visual representation of how well we know the community. Next, we'll go into a research wrap-up booklet, which is similar to the research we've provided you, but it would be shorter and more tailored to the university itself. Next would be a potential package booklet that would show work that Populous has done that's similar to what the university is seeking, while also showing some of the best work Populous has done in order to promote our own highlights. With that, there would be a potential package drive, which would include digital versions of both booklets, as well as a promotional video that we'll get into later. And finally, business cards of relevant contacts, just as a formality so they can stay in touch with us. Additionally, the budget is broken down on the screen. As you can see, the promotional video is our largest expense, but that's also a one-time expense in a video that can be used repeatedly whenever we need it. Further down, we have $1,000 allocated to printing cost, and our plan calls for 10 boxes. So each line item is multiplied by 10 to get to the total. And as you can see, it eventually adds up to being just over $17,000 for our total budget. To really drive this home, we've included this text to be included on the lid of the box. It reads, "Listen to their feet. The only way to know what truly matters to a person is by noting where they've been and where they consistently go. In this box, we've included items from your community that have stood the test of time. They've brought people together in the past, and they continue to do so in the present. We've been watching your community, and we know what makes your fans tick. And it's only with this understanding that we can say confidently that your stadium is more than concrete walls and metal bleachers. It's a place where people gather and memories are made, and giving these fans a place to gather is our expertise. Innovation and design are useless unless we use tradition and utility as our guides. And time is really the only true judge of tradition, but tradition doesn't come out of thin air. It has to start somewhere. There has to be a day one. Consider today that day." Thank you.
Very impressive that you memorized all of that.
It means a lot to me, so.
I don't know if I have any questions for you all. It was the personas you nailed it. That was very, very good. I don't know if I'm supposed to be honest in that. I don't think I have any questions.
All right, our last group will come up.
We on? All right. Wow. Okay, so wrapping up our entire semester, we just want to start us off by thanking you guys immensely for being here today, and also recognizing you all for sharing this experience with us. So if you guys could just take a moment to look to your left and look to your right, and really get to know your neighbor, because right now we are one crowd, joined together under one shared experience and one shared value of bettering the sport of collegiate football. So right now we're handing out a couple stickers, so you can put on your laptops, your water bottles, what have you, so you guys always remember the one crowd mentality.
So we are Blitz Communications. We strive to be more than just a regular communications agency. We don't only just solve problems, we blitz them. So I am Treya, the research director.
I'm Jonah, planning director.
I'm Juniper, the marketing communications director.
I'm Drew, the account coordinator.
I'm Emily, I'm the presentation director.
And I'm Hannah, I'm the creative director.
Alrighty, so jumping right into our presentation here, this is a slide that kind of outlines the structure of our presentation. We like to refer to it as the game plan. So as you can see, we've divided up our campaign into 4 main components. Part 1 is the introduction. Within this section, we'll dissect the problems that Populous presented to us, as well as build a little background and shed a little insight onto some specific inspiration behind our creative campaign. Part 2 is the research component, and as you all know by now, we did conduct a giant research phase as a class, and this section really just kind of highlights some of that key information, some of those key findings that we did use to conduct our creative campaign. Phase 3 is the execution phase, so here we will talk about our specific media plan, as well as kind of break down our goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. And then finally, phase 4, the evaluation. We'll tell you all exactly how our campaign is going to affect Populous.
So let's just jump into it. So we all know why we're here. College football attendance is declining. And so around our campaign, we focused on Populous being the solution.
Jumping right into our SWOT analysis here, we conducted this SWOT so that we could better understand Populous as a client and leverage your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats to better serve us in providing you with a creative campaign. So we've identified a key strength, a key weakness, a key opportunity, and a key threat that kind of serve as our motivation behind our creative suggestions. So as far as strengths go, we really feel that Populous currently has a very strong brand identity, and so we really wanted to include that factor within our creative campaign. As far as weaknesses go, we understand that there is a slight confusion between the brand of Populous and HOK Sport, and we wanted our campaign to help alleviate some of that confusion. Jumping into opportunities, we really feel that you guys have a unique opportunity at your doorstep to even further differentiate yourself from your competition by building off of your current brand identity of drawing people together. And as far as threats go, oh, sorry, that was a little loud. As far as threats go, we really think that the biggest threat to Populous is the competition amongst universities for limited resources.
Moving on to the research phase of our presentation, we felt that we were going to start with target audience. When trying to win a stadium project, there are a lot of people that we need, the Populous needs to impress. There's perhaps no one more important to impress than the athletic director. This is because they are the ones that at the end of the day end up making the decision. Athletic directors are concerned about their legacy from the minute they take their position, and are concerned with what's going to happen with the university. As a fan, I'm the type of guy who watches football any day of the week. Football is like a religion. I will watch Florida play BYU on an elementary school playground if that's what it takes. With that being said, not a lot of people are like that. We decided to break our fans down into 2 segments, the student fans and the non-student fans. The microsegments of these are the social fan. The social fan is someone who goes to a game so he can hang out with his or her friends, enjoy the tailgating festivities, but at the end of the day, the result of the game really isn't that important. The family fan takes his or her loved ones to the game because they want to build a strong tradition and memories that will continue for the rest of their lives. The luxury fan traditionally has disposable income. They're willing to pay whatever it takes for high-quality seats that usually include premium seating of lounge boxes and suites.
Okay, so we have taken all of this information from the target audience as the athletic directors, our fan profiles, and all of the research that we did in phase 1 and really boiled it down to 4 key findings. So first we have social engagement motivates fan behavior. Basically, humans are social beings and nobody wants to feel left out. And next we know that fans want the at-home experience with the energy of a crowd. So people just want to be comfortable, and it's also important to know that this isn't necessarily just achieved through sitting on your couch. This is also, you can get this at a restaurant, a tailgate, a bar, what have you, but what you can't get at these places is the energy and the atmosphere of being surrounded by thousands of other people sharing one common experience. We know that traditions are an integral part of the college football experience. Traditions bond people together regardless of your age, any of that. People come together and partake in these traditions. We also know that fans vary within and across universities. No two fans are alike, so there's not one size fits all solution to the problem of declining attendance at college football games. So basically, we took these 4 key findings to really craft the foundation of our campaign. In January, Populous came to us with 3 challenges: to create experience for all microsegments of the college football population, to drive collegiate football attendance, and also to create a multi-faceted marketing campaign that shows that Populous is #1 in fan experience. So, we have considered these goals, we've conducted the research, and we have designed a campaign that positions Populous as experts of people and pigskin. So without further ado, we introduce to you the One Crowd campaign, where we really emphasize Populous's value of drawing people together and further this ideal by promoting unity among fans and bringing them back into the stadium.
So during our brainstorming process, we drew these words on whiteboards just to get us going and starting. So some of them are community, togetherness, and engaging. These are just the words that we thought about when we're thinking about One Crowd campaign.
Our campaign goal was to elevate Populous's visionary expertise through its unyielding passion for community in every facet of its work in order to enhance the college football fan experience and increase opportunities for business development. So here we have our playbook. This is our game plan, our strategy of the 3 goals we wanted to focus on when creating this One Crowd campaign. Our first goal focused around Populous. We really wanted to substantiate Populous as a brand rooted in community, but one that also becomes the top of mind brand and company for athletic directors when choosing a stadium renovation. Our second goal focuses around business development. We really wanted to translate the One Crowd campaign into increasing new business for Populous. And then lastly, our third goal focuses around the college football fans. We want to enhance the overall college football fan experience.
So let's jump into it. We took those goals to create our media strategy. Our media strategy is designed to create awareness across all platforms by engaging our target audience of athletic directors. And who better influences the athletic directors than the fans? So we have up here some mock-ups of kind of the media strategy that we put in. So here we have a Snapchat filter, One Crowd by Populous, that will be presented at these stadiums that Populous visits, that you will see soon to come, as well as a Facebook ad that would be promoted on Populous's Facebook website. So we took this media strategy into 4 phases. Step 1 is our website. This is the hub for all interactive content that the One Crowd campaign embodies. So we have up here a mock-up of what our website will look like. When you come into the website, you'll see the hashtag One Crowd, so you really feel and see the big One Crowd mentality. And then you'll go down and be able to see what exactly the campaign is, and it'll just give you a little text. And then you'll be able to scroll right, left, down, and then get to see the kind of nuggets of what the campaign is. So, moving on to step 2, the video. The video is footage of Populous's fan experience that exemplifies the theme of community togetherness through shared experiences.
We do this by creating FOMO, however, eliciting inclusivity, because we're showing people that you can be a part of Populous's One Crowd. Watch our video, feel the experience that Populous has created, and be a part of our crowd, One Crowd. And this is an example of what the video would be looking like. We'll present it on YouTube, as well as putting it on our website. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts, because we're going on a ride. So, this is what we like to call the pop-up. The pop-up is an extension of our One Crowd campaign that actually brings the One Crowd mentality to schools. So, this pop-up will be following College Game Day. In this sense, it'll be popping around to the different schools at College Game Day and basically immersing them in an interactive tailgating experience. So, what's in the pop-up, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The pop-up is designed as exactly like an interactive tailgating experience. So we'll start by enticing fans by handing out grab bags, goodies, snacks, anything from soft drinks to little footballs for kids to play around with. That's how we entice people to our bus. As well as, we look through our research that interactive experiences are super big for the millennial and Gen Z generation. So that's why we created an Instagrammable wall that's traveling on the bus. So this will give the opportunity for people to actually take a picture with the bus, and especially with the student population, it'll be a huge driver to the bus. And on the other side of the bus, there'll be the One Crowd Is slogan on top of it, this will allow people to actually draw in what they feel One Crowd is, what they want One Crowd to be, how they feel it actually is. And that's the exterior. But guess what? There's an interior. So, in the interior of the bus, there's going to be TVs that are surrounding all of the inside that are actually playing other collegiate games that are happening at this moment. So these fans get to have that kind of bar experience, where they get to still see what's happening on the other games. As well as in the bus, there's actually going to be a photo aspect, so people will be able to come to the bus and take their photo, similar to what a couple stadiums have done with being able to place yourself into the team that you're at. So, for example, if the pop-up is at Oklahoma and there's a bunch of Sooner fans around, the pop-up will actually be able to take a picture of the fan and place them into their Sooner fan experience. There'll be Sooners running down the field with the actual players. And then lastly, but very much not least, we're going to have the Design Your Own Dream Stadium. Populous has done this before with the Build Your Own Ballpark. And this is something where the fans actually get to design what kind of experiences that they want. So that where the pop-up is, they'll be able to actually pull data from what exactly these fans are wanting for that unique stadium. So this is not only advantageous to the fans being able to interact directly with the university and the stadium, but also really advantageous to the athletic directors who want to know what exactly their fans want. How are they going to renovate their stadium by getting information of what the fans want. So, that brings us to the box. The box is an interactive athletic director media kit that is designed to give the Populous One Crowd experience to their doorstep. So, we did something similar with the Google Cardboard, where Populous will be designing an actual interactive video of what their stadium could look like through the fan research that we did through the pop-up phase of our campaign. So you'll be able to, again, look into it and see your interactive experience. As well as there will be a USB drive, which is a Populous portfolio of what they've done, who we are, along with the calling card. And this calling card will say #OneCrowd on the front, and then on the back will say #BecomeOne with Populous's contact information at the bottom, just as that call to action to join our crowd, be one crowd with us.
So here we have several different stadium renovations recommendations that we chose from our research. A lot of these are things that would be included in our Build Your Own Stadium inside the pop-up bus, but it would also be just renovations that we recommend to Populous. So we've segmented it into 3 different sections, one being seating. This focuses on just comfort for the fans, and one of the things we decided to highlight was 4D seating. So you can have a section that you specifically pay for 4D seating, and then you can have the seats rumble at a crucial moment in the game, or smoke coming out of the armrests, etc., just something that creates a full interactive experience. And then we also have several other recommendations for the seating. Next, we have dynamic spaces. So one of the things we found in our research was that students want to go to the games so they can meet with their friends, and we want to bring them inside the stadium. So by creating a student patio, we can bring them inside the stadium and be able to give them a space to hang out with their friends and move around more freely instead of just being confined to the bleachers of their student section, but also still experiencing the game. Lastly, we have accessibility. One of the things we wanted to focus on was having a Wi-Fi booth throughout the stadium. That's becoming very common, but also just having weatherproofed outdoor spaces. When you have games in Florida and you have games in Wisconsin, there's all sorts of environments that you have to consider. So having this sort of space is essential. And all of these three are for both the fan that wants premium seating, but most of them can apply to all fans.
Alrighty, phase 4, the evaluation. I'm sure you guys are all thinking right now, how the heck are we going to use this bus to affect our brand and things like that? And you're probably even more concerned about the budget, I'm sure. But before we dive into this phase, let me just reiterate that this is a campaign presenting opportunities to you all. So you're welcome to pick and choose from our presented budget that we'll get to here in just a second. So, as you can see here, we've divided up our evaluation process based on those 3 goals that we presented to you earlier. We really wanted to focus on ways that you can measure the success of these particular goals. And so, to start out, by substantiating Populous as a brand rooted in community, we really think that the best way to measure the success of this aspect is through your active social media presence. And the best way to measure that is by measuring the number of interactions you get on social media. Whether that be just using the hashtag #OneCrowd, or posting photos of the pop-up, or even just tweeting about some specific renovations that Populous has completed. So we've set the goal for 10,000 social media interactions from fans that will then translate into recognition from the athletic directors, which leads us to goal 2 here, which is explicitly said to translate Populous's One Crowd campaign into new business opportunities. So, like we said, the best way to get your brand top of mind with these athletic directors is to truly go through their fans first. Athletic directors care about what their fans are thinking about, and because of that, they're going to listen. So we figured that the best way of measuring your new business acquisitions is not necessarily in terms of pitches that you win, but instead in terms of RFP requests that you receive. And we'd like to see a 10% increase in RFPs based on our One Crowd campaign. And finally, our 3rd goal here is to enhance the college football fan experience. And this is kind of where all elements of our campaign tie in together. But most importantly, the pop-up itself, we really feel like that the best way to truly understand your fans even more is to gain insights directly from them, which the create your own stadium aspect within the Populous bus, the pop-up, has to offer is really just immeasurable data that you guys can hone in on. And as a result, we want to set the goal of gaining 100+ unique interactions with college football fans through the pop-up at each college stadium visit.
So let's take a look at our budget. We decided to break it down into 4 different sections. So starting with the media, that will be including with our Snapchat filter, our Facebook advertisements, our Instagram, and that would include also our Google AdWords. Next will be the new business. That will include our box, so that will include everything that goes inside of it, how much it costs to ship, and also materials inside of it. And then also, we'll also do the pop-up. This will include our school bus and how much it will cost to fund that and the production and the cost of the bus. And additional opportunity, this is just an opportunity to gain more brand awareness. So we're thinking of collaborating with ESPN College Game Day and creating a partnership with them. So that will be following them around and that will gain more recognition for Populous.
And these numbers were based off of looking at projected long-term goals, that if Populous wanted to use that opportunity in projecting ESPN Game Day partnership, that's where it could be headed. That's not necessarily needed in the beginning phases of our Populous pop-up bus.
Yeah, a partnership with ESPN College Game Day is definitely not something you most likely want to start out with, given the high cost, but it is definitely something that would resonate with great brand recognition across the country. Partnering with a global brand such as ESPN is just a really great way to get your brand out there, especially to reach that top-of-mind presence with those athletic directors. So us here at Blitz Communications truly believe that the time to combat this problem facing college football is now. And Populous, as a leader in the sports architecture industry, can take advantage of that opportunity right now and establish itself as a leader in combating this challenge through a full-bodied branding campaign such as the One Crowd campaign, as well as with your strong brand identity that you currently have and your full-scale body of work that you guys have already completed. You truly can be a difference in solving this issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. And we are One Crowd. We hope you become one with us.
So yes, we really feel that your current brand identity of drawing people together is unique in the sense that most of your other competitors are simply using their extreme background of their impressive work to substantiate themselves as unique competition. Whereas you guys have this idea that you're not just creating the architecture, you guys know how to create these stadiums, but you're about creating these experiences for people. You're all about drawing these people together. And we feel like that's something that really resonates with athletic directors.
Populous focuses on the human element of architecture, not just how great things you can create. You really understand the people who are going to be having these experiences.
After all, your brand, your name of your company is Populous.
Oh, did you guys practice that?
We also believe that part of community in every facet, like we said, will really differentiate you because you don't just say, we're about people, look, it's on our name. You really implement it in every single thing you do, and that even goes back to how we suggested for the bus, taking into account your actual fans that you're building these stadiums for, their insight, and it's saying, we really do care about you, this is where this information is coming from.
And that was the heart of our campaign, was you guys. We looked at it and thought that, our problem was collegiate football attendance was declining. We have the solution in front of us, and it's Populous. All we have to do is push out the message.
Who designed this? Lindsay and I are going to get our bus driving license. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we figured we could have party people staff the bus, but we thought that the most important part of it would be having the actual Populous people going around stadiums, and how fun would that be to just travel? Thank you.
So much.
So before we close up, I want to invite our esteemed client to just share some reflections on everything they've seen tonight, the process in general, and kind of how this experience has gone. I can only speak for myself and tell you how proud I am of you guys and what you guys have shown to our clients. But at the end of the day, it's got to speak to them. So let's have them speak to you.
First, before I dive into your presentations, I wanted to say thanks for the parents and friends and family who are here. Now that I'm a mom myself, I can't even begin to imagine how proud you all must be at this moment, because I got tears in my eyes. It's like I'm having my baby. It was so great to see all of this come together over the course of the last few months. So thank you for recalling a little bit of KU memories for Lindsay and I. That was really fun. Wow, I am so impressed. Really, really impressed. Your demeanor was fantastic. Your presentation designs were fantastic. Your ideas were fantastic. You guys really knocked it out of the park. I can't say enough about really how many great ideas that we saw. Unique ideas, really well thought out campaigns. I think every single one of you really tied your campaigns all the way through, and that was very impressive. Great job on that front. One thing that I heard loud and clear is that we need to place a lot more emphasis on students, especially when we go to pitch new work. Candidly, that's something that we kind of overlook because there's not a lot of revenue in the students. But as you all have pointed out, that's a long-term play to grow more revenue. So thank you for those ideas. That was wonderful on that front too. Just a couple of questions for you, and then I'll give you some feedback on each of the groups. What was the hardest part of putting all this together? Starting, figuring out where to get started? Yeah. What do you think you'll remember the most that you could go and apply in your first job? Team bonding, yeah, I would say that's very important. That's probably more important than anything else. And communicating clearly, which you all did a really good, I mean, when you only have 20 minutes, it's hard to do that. I have a question for you. Should students get free tickets? You're split, interesting.
Would you go to the game if you had free tickets?
And I feel all students should.
As I say, one university I looked at, they have a faculty day, and they gave free tickets, like 30,000 or something like that, and most of them weren't used. So those were free tickets given and weren't used. So I don't know how valuable that would be translating to students. No, Michigan or somewhere up northern. Yeah. So do what that means.
I think it depends on the stadium for sure. I feel like you're going to Republican or Columbia free tickets automatically. At KU, I buy the all sports pass that comes with football and basketball. I don't use that for ticket.
I also think it depends on the stadium. For a stadium that has constant butts and seats, I don't think it's necessary. But for something like KU, if we didn't have, I mean, we already don't have people ever going. But I know people who say, I won't go to this bar because there's a $3 cover. And that's a very prevalent thing for college students. So I feel like if they had to pay a lot to go to individual games, I think it would drive it down for universities that don't have like high attendance already.
Two more questions. Would a dedicated game day hotel sell? I don't know. Who should we target? Not Hambo. Now you see how you tie the personas into the different ideas, right? You got it. Yeah. Last question. As alumni, do you plan to support KU football? I had to ask that question, didn't I?
Basketball culture is so strong. I mean, if 20 years down the line, if we look back and we're like, say like, oh, we're one of the birthplaces of basketball, and that's why there's so much more opportunity for basketball.
That was good. Okay, I'll dive in.
I'm just really proud to be at J School a lot. This was really cool to see, and I'm really proud of you guys. So good luck finding jobs and being your own people.
Okay, I'll start with Chameleon Creative. The stadium design builder thing was so fun, and the reason I loved that idea, that's you all. The reason I love that idea is because anytime that we can give our clients something it's interactive, that they can feel like it makes it their own. That's, no matter if the idea is right or not, like the stadium they designed, no matter if it works or not, it's something they can fall in love with and something that they can manipulate. So that was wonderful. Populous party. Trying to read my handwriting here. It was really interesting that you wanted to position us as an architect and a marketing consultant. I thought that was a very unique idea, and it never really dawned on me that maybe we mark up our services. That's very interesting. So thank you. That was a good tip. I appreciate that. 1923. Man, you guys did your research. NACTA. That was impressive. That was very smart of you. Loved the VR idea. I know Lindsay was asking you a lot of questions about that, so I bet that's going to pop up in some ideas here soon. And your fill the gap theme was really fun too. I liked that. So good job carrying that through all the way. The stomping grounds. Who wrote that narrative? Man, that was good. Well done. You get an A+ for the semester. For sure. That's why you had it memorized too. You want to be a writer? You have a future in it. That's good. Yeah, you nailed the personas. I think that was by far, that was the best piece of the assignment that I saw. You totally got it, what we were looking for, and how to apply it. So thinking through all those different groups and then how to apply that, and then how do you create something special for each one of those. When you can start to do that, it makes building the campaign so much easier, right? Because you're coming up with something unique for all of them. So, man, well done on that front. And then last but not least, so fun. So fun. The bus is such a great idea. I think we'll go drive around. And I mean, like thinking about something like sponsoring college game day, huge cost, but such a memorable, I mean, everybody would be talking about that, right? So really great campaign. Very, very well thought through campaign. Well done. That's all I have. I would just like to say, as Lindsay and I are J School alumni, use us as a resource. We're all best friends now, right? So use us as a resource in your job search. Does anyone have a job? Is everyone graduating in May? And 2 of you already have jobs. Where are you going? And what are you doing? Wow, congratulations. That is awesome that you already have jobs. I'm very proud of you. So, you have my contact info, you have Lindsay's contact info. Do not hesitate to keep in touch with us and ask questions, ask for advice, ask for resources, contacts. It's our job to pass on the baton to the future generations. So, please keep in touch and let us know where you end up and what you do. So, thank you for spending your time here, and now I understand you get to go have some fun.
Well, thank you guys so much for making this such a good experience. It was a good experience both because of what you guys brought to it, but also just because of the richness of the challenge. And ultimately that's what these guys rallied around. They could relate to it. It was real world. You guys were engaged every step of the process, and that's made it the best campaigns experience I've had. And I know it's the best one they've had. But yeah, we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much. Thank you for offering to continue to be a resource. Nice plug for connecting with alumni. That's what the Alumni Association helps you do. Stay connected. But now, in conclusion, I'll just remind you guys, go out, celebrate safely, please. And remember that as you guys leave KU will always be there, but as you leave KU and embark on your careers, I like to say that there is no such thing as a former Jayhawk, right? Once a Jayhawk, always a Jayhawk. Thanks everyone for coming, and have a good night.